Here we are. Late night, but it's not that late. We still got a little bit of night left, like almost 46 minutes. Let's call it 45. I'm your host on 752, and this is the Daily Go Getimism Show, Throwback Thursday. Let's get real about relationships Thursday. Tonight on the Daily Go Getimism Show, we are talking about just going through the motions. Just going through the motions. Have you ever been with somebody so long or know of a situation with somebody where a couple has been together for so long that they know each other so well that the things that they have done, the things that they do, the way that they feel about each other are so matter of fact. They are so extremely familiar. And, in my opinion, familiarity is a good thing. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. However, I can understand other people's point of view when they say that because it is so familiar, because it is each person in that relationship is so well known to the other person in that relationship, then they know exactly what to expect. And maybe the things that they can expect aren't all that great. And that's not to say that the entire relationship isn't good, but it can get to the point where, sometimes, how they say, sometimes you have to, what they say, spice things up, find a way to rekindle something, rekindle that spark, reignite that flame that used to be burning so hot and so bright before. See, okay, y'all may understand what I'm talking about when I say that you're just going through the motions. A lot of times people point to sexual activities when they say you're just going through the motions. Of course, when you've been with somebody for a long time, you know their sexual behavior, you know their sexual activity, you know what they like and what they probably don't like. And you probably either accommodate that or y'all already have an understanding about what is acceptable and what is out of bounds for the both of you. The thing is, when you start thinking about it a little bit deeper, when you start talking about going through the motions, you could be talking about going through the motions in way more areas than just the physical part of the relationship. So you may be going through the motions as far as the affection that you show somebody. When I say affection, I'm not necessarily just talking about sex. It could be the way that you talk to a person, the way that you actually feel about the person when they are around and when they aren't around. You may be going through the motions of, keeping secrets instead of revealing certain things that should be known in the relationship, and not necessarily secrets of the sinister kind or the infidelity or anything like that, but keeping secrets about the way that you feel about your union. We look at people who have been married, married couples that have been together for decades or whatever, and we look at them like, I know that y'all probably went through a lot with each other, but y'all were able to weather the storm and be together. But the thing is, it's not always, peaches and cream and roses, and maybe tulips, because tulips are pretty flowers, right? It's probably not all rose petals and tulips, dealing with the way that they feel about each other. Have you ever known somebody that was married that you had to ask either them or somebody close to them were they married anymore? Kind of like because they didn't talk about their spouse anymore. They weren't together anymore when you saw them. Like maybe you suspected that they were having trouble in their relationship, trouble in their marriage, or something like that. But they seemed more separate than together. They seem more separated than together. When two people are together, they enjoy each other's company. They want to be around each other. When you're just going through the motions, you may be doing that for the visible part of your relationship. In other words, not to call attention to the negative parts of your marriage or your relationship. So you may put on a good show for your in-laws or for your children or for your neighbors or for the teachers at your kids' school, functions, groups and things that you may be a part of. You may be going through the motions in more ways than just the physical part. That's what I mean when I say just going through the motions. You may be going through the motions of putting on a good face for other people to make them think that your relationship is in a good place, when in reality it's so familiar to you that you just sort of like, I could do this marriage, I could do this relationship with my eyes closed. I could do it blindfolded with earplugs in. I could do this relationship now because I know my partner so well and I know the routine of what we do so well. I could do it blindfolded with earplugs in, with my mouth closed, just going through the motions. Have you ever been with somebody? Has anybody within the sound of my voice ever gotten to the point where you were just going through the motions in the relationship that you were in? If you've ever done it, you know what a serious situation it is. You know how disheartening and unhappy it can be. And that's not to say that you're living in total misery, but the unhappiness, the unhappiness comes along with kind of accepting that things are not going to get any better. Like, this is it. We have peaked and we can come down, but I don't think that there's a way for us to get back up again. It looks like we're going to be down for the better part of our union together. But we will still be united because we really don't have a good enough reasons to break apart. Like, it's not that we don't get along, it's just that we don't get together. It's not that we don't get along, it's just that we don't get together. You're just going through the motions. I know that she doesn't like this. She knows that he doesn't like that. So, okay, we'll do whatever is necessary not to make waves, not to make a stink, not to cause a scene, not to bring unwanted attention, not to be drawing on each other. Stop drawing. Stop drawing. Stop drawing on each other, please. But anyway. What's going on, Care Bear? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. And Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Thanks for coming through. Girl, thanks. I appreciate you both. And I appreciate you, everybody else who came through. Yo, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Daily Go Getterism Show. Throwback Thursday. Let's get real about relationships Thursday. And we are talking about just going through the motions. Just going through the motions. Just going through the motions. Yes, I know her and she knows me. But that's how it's gonna be. When we first started 7 years ago, I was good to go. We had a nice flow. Nowadays, we're sort of like in the black haze, not purple. Kind of like Urkel. We were looking like a nerd. It's not nothing new, you heard. It's the same old same. Ain't no fame. I don't know. Like I said, you know, for somebody like me, familiarity is good. But that normally happens when you are familiar. I mean, familiar to the point where you're still getting to know a person and you're learning new things about a person, even though you may have known them, been with them for years. You may have seen a reinvention of themselves, or you may have seen things about them that have been brought out. Maybe you even helped to bring those things out of them. And so they're reinventing themselves in your mind, even if they aren't consciously reinventing themselves to the rest of the world, and it can keep you interested. So when I say just going through the motions in a relationship, just going through the motions, one of the biggest problems is that you are not interested anymore. You have lost, not, all right. Listen, I don't want to paint such a negative image of this thing, because I know for a fact that a lot of people have gone through this. But when I say that you have, let me not say lost interest. Let me say that you're failing to find interest in somebody that you're dealing with. Like, they have become so routine for you, so familiar to you, so well known to you, that you already know what they're going to say before they say it. The problem can come when what they have to say is something that you don't want them to say, or something that you don't want to hear. That's when it starts to get a little dark. That's when it starts to get a little murky. That's when the problems can really start to kick in, because you know that any conversation that y'all have, if y'all still have conversations, is not going to be positive. It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be something that you look forward to. It's not going to be something that you look forward to. This is not a situation where you are going to be like, yo, I'm glad to be with her. She's glad to be with me. Yeah, maybe that sand through the hourglass has run out. Maybe. Just going through the motions. Care Bear says the sadness comes from you knowing that you're being complacent. Complacent. Shirley Cheryl says, like that Karen White song. I think it was titled, I'm Not Your Superwoman. Interesting. That's an interesting song for this concept. I'm not your superwoman. The thing is, if a man expects his woman to still to be a superwoman, he's probably not going through the motions in the relationship, because he believes that she is a superwoman, that she can make things happen, that she can possess superpowers. Superwoman, Wonder Woman, whatever the case may be, he still thinks that she's on a high plane, even if he's just taking unfair advantage of her, So he's probably not just going through the motions. And when I say not just going through the motions, because if a man considers his woman to be a superwoman, a Wonder Woman, a strong black woman, whatever, then that means that he knows in order to bring some of her greatness out in his favor, then he's going to have to do some mental wrangling of his own. He's not just going to be able to sit back and wait to be waited on hand and foot, served hand and foot. It's not going to happen. So what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to find a way to convince her that taking care of him is the best thing to do. So I don't think, excuse me, y'all. I don't know if that's the just going through the motions that I'm referring to. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, Care Bear says it's murky because neither of you really wants to be there. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. Shirley Cheryl says. She says in the song, you're just going through the motions and you're not being fair. She sure does. Yeah, man, you be listening to that old school. Why you be listening to that old school? But do you think she was right? Was Karen White right? when she said that you're just going through the motions and you're not being fair. Placing routine, unrealistic expectations on your partner. Is that going through the motions? Is that going through the motions? I don't know. I guess when I think about going through the motions, I'm thinking about things like, all right, when I'm at work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop off at the store before I get home and pick up this or that for my wife, so I don't have to hear her mouth when I get home about how she don't have this to cook with or this to do this or that, whatever. Or so I won't have to go back out because he always makes me go back to the store once I come in the house and just want to relax. So you may be going through the motions in that regard. So it's not really about making your wife or your partner happy. It's really about getting them to shut up, getting them to stop nagging and complaining or something like that. So just going through the motions. So I'm really not trying to please you, or even I'm more so trying to appease you. Don't want to please you, but I'm down to appease you. Like when you talk, I just want to turn down the volume. There used to be a time when I used to be hanging on your every word. Now I don't want to hear none of that. None of that mess you got to say. Them lyrics you spitting is whack, 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 whack. Just going through the motions. Just going through the motions. The kids can be involved. You're just going through the motions and the kids are involved. So that could be a situation where you go to parent teacher school meetings. You and your wife going, knowing damn well y'all sleeping in separate rooms or on the verge of it. But yeah, we'll both go up to the school and make it look good. It's good for a photo op. Photo op relationships. Ain't that something? Photo op relationships. We want to make sure that everybody in the streets can see us for what we're not for what we are, for what we're not. Everybody can see what we're doing, even if we're not even doing what it looks like we're doing. Hey, cat. Yeah. Just going through the motions in that regard. Cheryl says, that's what I do. She was everyday routine without love filled conversations, without smiling, just doing the duties expected, cooking, cleaning. Yeah. That's when you have to kind of familiarize yourself with what everybody else or what anybody else or someone else might consider going through the motions. Like, I couldn't imagine myself cooking and cleaning for somebody that I wasn't in love with. Like, I couldn't imagine it. I mean, it's a nice, beautiful gesture on anybody's part, but I couldn't imagine myself doing that. Like, I don't love you. I ain't cooking for you. What is this? Why? How could I even be put in a situation where I would cook for somebody that I didn't like? How? Once again, y'all, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Daily Go Get It Business Show. I'm your host, Sun752. And we are talking about just going through the motions in your going through the motions in your relationship or your marriage or your partnership, just going through the motions. We all know that you can just go through the motions when you're at work. If you have become disinterested or disenchanted by your job and you're really, thinking about moving on, and you probably just want to take the first thing smoking to get up out of this situation at your job, there's a good chance that you might just be going through the motions. All right, this is what I'm going to do. When I come into work, I'm not going to be spending my time saying hi to everybody in the hallways or things like that. I'll get with them later. Or if they're too far away, I'm not going to act like I see them. I'm going to act like I didn't see them. And then if they see me later, I'm going to question their eyesight. You sure that was me? You sure? But yeah. Taking it for granted. Taking things for granted. Taking unfair advantage of it. Taking unfair advantage of it. Taking it for granted. Just going through the motions. Yeah, if you don't like your job, there's a good chance that you're just coming in, clocking in, doing the work that you know is the most familiar, the stuff that you can get over with quick. And then you probably get enough done in the middle of the day to whereas the end of the day is nothing for you. Maybe you even find a way to dip out because you're just going through the motions. Going through the motions. I know I have to be to work on time, and I know I have to work into a certain point. Everything that happens in between those places, those spaces, is a toss-up. Not sure if I can participate. Emily Dunlap in the house. I said it. Emily. Care Bear says, me cooking for anyone is my way of showing you that is my way of showing that I care about you. That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. So, just going through the motions. I guess the elephant in the room is the sexual activity part. But yeah, when you have lost that physical spark, that spark in your physical relationship, your sexual relationship, it's very hard to get that back. When good sex has turned bad, it is hard to get it back to what it was because it can't be exactly what it was. Your feelings about it when it was happening are way different than it would be mulled over by everybody else, insulated to a certain degree. Yeah. That thing. Yeah. Care Bear says, me cooking for anyone is my way of showing that I care for you. Makes sense. It makes sense. So when we say going through the motions, just going through the motions. Just going through the motions. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't love a person anymore. But it can just mean that I know what I'm going to get, and I don't have a 100% appreciation for what I'm going to get. And you're going to notice that because, and you're going to notice that because, and you're going to know it because, and you're going to know it because of. Yeah. Just going through the motions. It's funny how so many people are together and apart at the same time. Together and apart at the same time. They are together. They haven't broken up or they haven't divorced or anything like that. But they're separated or they're really apart because they don't love each other, appreciate each other, or even deal with each other the way that they used to. So they may have had a lot of promise in the beginning. Now, not so much. Just going through the motions. Just going through the motions. Have you ever been involved with somebody who really doesn't seem to want you in their world? You know, we get receipts for just about everything that we buy. We get receipts, and the reason that we get receipts is so if we are planning to make a return, if we're planning to return the item because we don't like it or because it's malfunctioning or something like that, your receipt is your way of verifying that you should either get a refund or be able to make an exchange or something. Care Bear says, I wonder if that's what our parents did. I know that a lot of our parents did. My parents definitely went through the motions. I can't even really speak on how much or if they liked each other so much in the 70s. I can remember from 76 on up to adulthood, I'm not that good with whatever happened before 76. I wonder. And maybe we are just romanticizing some of those old school unions. Well, we do that all the time. We do that all the time. Romanticize. Our grandparents was together, growing old together. Well, I've known older couples, and I ain't hear them talk about growing old together, even though they was already old. I'm not sure if growing old together was their goal. Most of their goals were centered around making sure that they still got along with each other, still appreciated each other, still loved each other, still wanted each other around, still enjoyed each other's company, still were helpful towards each other. Cheryl Hudson says, I know my mom didn't do that. I don't know if it was better or worse to not have a father growing up. That's interesting. Well, I'll say this, Cheryl. You know how they say you can't miss what you never had? Well, I don't. You can definitely miss what you never had, because that's what missing something is. We look at something like we look at the word missing like, dealing with something that we had before, something that we were always had access to before, and now we don't anymore. But the word miss also means that we aimed for something and did not get it, did not hit it. We weren't able to reach the bullseye. So, a lot of people who grew up without parental guidance, in other words, grow up with a father in their lives, a lot of people have missed out on that. And it's sad. But one thing you don't hear them saying is, well, I never had a father, so it doesn't really matter because I didn't miss anything. Because they can't say that. You don't know what you didn't have as far as being able to have both of your parents into your life. You just don't know. You just don't know. We just don't know. Man, we're about to get on about it here. I'm tired. I'm about to lay the black ass down. But listen, I'm going to thank y'all for coming on through. We about to do these birthday shout-outs. We are about to do these birthday shout-outs. So let's do them. We have some birthday shout-outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious November 16th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Terry Hall turning 59 years old today, and Donella Gamillion, happy birthday to you, and also Takia Stokes, happy birthday to you, and Jonette D. Allen, happy birthday to you, and Chanel Cash turning 35 years old today, and Mazalita Fania Guzman turning 28 years old today, and also Glenda Florence turning 50 years old today, and Daryl Springs turning 63 years old today, and Siobhan Long turning 58 years old today. Allison Cunningham, go get her, Allison Cunningham, happy birthday to you. And DJ Leon Lynch turning 50 years old today. And Prince Bishop, happy birthday to you. And my girl Leah Clouden, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, my man going all the way back to the 1989, my man Carl Jones, happy birthday to you, my brother. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious November 16th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, man, listen. When you're just going through the motions, do you want to be in a situation where you're just going through the motions? Like, okay, I know she likes this, so I'll do it, but I don't really want to do it. I don't really like to do it, but I'm going to do it. Just this. Yeah, this is a back rub. Yes, affection. You feel better? Okay. That's good. Not really putting your feelings into it, not getting your spiritual self into it, not engulfing yourself into it, not getting yourself involved in it to the point where you can start to appreciate it and maybe even want it for yourself. It's a tough spot to be in, but it's not an unfamiliar spot for a lot of people, and it probably won't be. But I'll tell you one thing. We will be back tomorrow night with another Daily Go-Getterism show. So make sure that y'all come on through and regulate too. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We one love you. We one love you. Peace. Have a good night, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet.